What's good, YouTube? We got another video, or a new video. I said another. We got a new video from Cloudify. I think we've seen him before. I don't know if he's subscribed or not, but I think I've seen him before. I don't know if it's me or someone I reacted to him, but we got a video from Cloudify, the Grayson that deserves more respect. And in the thumbnail, I see my glorious Go Nightwing. So you already know we tapped in with these. Make sure y'all boys pre-fire that like, you know what I'm saying? Both on this video right here, and on this video, and the Discord com is linked in the description. Make sure y'all tap in. You tap in with Discord com, you get notified every time I post a video, which is twice daily, and you get notified every time I go live. We are very, very, very close to affiliate. We literally just need, I think, so we've been having like 8 concurrent viewers and stuff. You need 4 on average, but because I've streamed so much, I've streamed like 140 hours within the last like joint, and I've streamed for more than 25 days. So like the requirements for partner almost hit too. I just need to get more people in chat. So, you tap in with that. You can help us hit affiliate, and anyone who's there, because we just hit the build a community badge. Shout out to the Discord con. Anyone who is there before I hit affiliate, I will be giving you a VIP in chat. If you like are there like somewhat consistently. There are even some of my friends who I'm not giving VIP just because they're not there for real. You know what I'm saying? They there, but they're not there for real. So go ahead and tap in with the community, man. We got all types of channels for like artists, comedy, all types of stuff. So you know what I'm saying? Tap in with the con. You know what I'm saying? Also, we have like an art channel, and that is where I got my current PFP from. So if you mess with the new PFP, check out Discord com down below. As always, make sure y'all boys drink y'all some water, get y'all some sleep, get y'all some sunlight, man. Y'all boys need to enjoy the sun. It's a good feeling. That's like top 5 best ways to immediately get a mood boost. It's up there with smelling something nice. It's up there with like drinking water and it hit like when you drink that water, you like feel it go down. It's refreshing. It's up there with like listening to your favorite song for 3 minutes. It's a couple things up there, but I guarantee you, just getting that sunlight for the first time in the day, it just hit a certain way. So let's make sure y'all tap in with that sunlight. And yo, I mean, without further ado, it's your boy Sly. Slide onto your timeline. We're gonna talk about this topic. You know what I'm saying? Reacts don't crack. We coming back to back, man. But without further ado, talk to me.
If I told you to think of someone with the last name Grayson that wears blue and black, who would you most likely think of first? If you said Mark Grayson,
Nightwing.
you're wrong, because the person that should have immediately came to mind is Richard Grayson. Unfortunately, over the past couple of years, I've come to realize that most people don't know who Nightwing is. At least not many general audiences, because the only good Nightwing stories or good Nightwing interpretations you get are in the books. And I guess there's kind of some exceptions, like games where he just looks cool but literally does nothing as a character, like Arkham City and Lego Batman 1. But besides that, he's constantly done dirty. Look no further than the DCAU. Nightwing appears in multiple movies, and in each one he's losing battles, getting injured, and overall being an
I genuinely don't understand how he got whooped by Damien. I'm glad he put that in the video because I just recently rewatched some Batman movies. I genuinely don't understand why he got whooped by Damien. This has been about fighting in Bloodhaven. Box with like it's not even like it's one thing if you ain't been training, but like people like Batman, superheroes, vigilantes, you literally go and train every day. There's no way you're out of your prime already. You're young. How did you get weaker? This look is nothing. It's a pebble.
Embarrassment. In Son of Batman, Nightwing defeats a bloodlusted Damian Wayne while obviously holding back. And yes, he's heavily injured because maybe he was caught off guard by a little angry 10-year-old brat being so skilled. You know, fine, it's fine. And it happens off screen, so even better. But why, oh why, did we need to see him lose to Damian later on in the movie? And it's embarrassing because Damian fans will actually use this to put Damian over Nightwing. And how do I deny it? Huh? Why would Nightwing hold back in a training match, in a sparring match, where he's talking junk, Damian's talking junk? Oh, my dad's better than yours, my dad can beat yours in a fight, and then lose a fight. Why would he do that? So it's just very inconsistent unless Damian just was in a cryo chamber and somehow got stronger
Crazy
overnight and
experience,
surpassed
bro.
Nightwing. I don't get it.
Yeah.
And Damian is like the complete opposite of Nightwing in these movies. He has the most plot armor, even more plot armor than his dad, Batman. Nightwing has like the bad luck charm. Like it's confusing.
It's heavy
Like
too.
in one of these movies, right? He loses to Scarecrow so bad that Catwoman has to save him. Why is Selena Kyle saving Nightwing's life? Why is Catwoman comparable in skill to Nightwing? Why? But then we look at Mark Grayson, the Grayson that seems to have it all. I mean, he has a successful comic book series. He also has a very successful TV series, and this show is like a one-to-one adaptation of the books.
Low key, I think a Nightwing show would be tough. Kinda like Young Justice, but disconnected. And the only problem is he's in Bloodhaven, which isn't like interesting to most people. But it's kind of like Teen Titans. They're in Jump City, bro. I've never heard of that jump. But like, have it be Nightwing, and then have it be like him being like peak street tier, and then have him going from peak street tier to like a Justice League. Kind of like that, like part of Young Justice, but this is gonna be a series focused on him, so it's able to be a little bit longer. And let's say we start him off with the Titans, so we can have a lot more lovable characters there. It can kind of be like, yeah, that could be tough. He's the focus. I don't want to call the show Nightwing. Like, he's the focus. We go from him being peak street tier. We get an interaction with Batman talking to him, and let's say that interaction inspired him. And then we get a Superman cameo. Say that inspired him. And then he does the Teen Titans. Right? And then he works as their leader. He learns how to work, like, operate a team. I mean, but he's Nightwing by this point. He already knows that. And then he works with them for a while, and like that's like the premise. And then season 2, season 3 starts working up to the Justice League. Because I think that's more interesting than like Bloodhaven Chronicles. But they could really talk about like the intricacies of Nightwing's like life and like how he operates as a hero. That's off top of the dome now.
With the author directly backing it, you can't get much better than that. I'd obviously love for any comic book character to have this treatment, you know, any good comic book character to have this treatment. I would love for Batman stories to be directly adapted, for Spider-Man stories to be directly adapted one-to-one into an animated form, given that they're actually good stories. But out of all those people, Nightwing may need it the most, because Nightwing has no good appearances outside of the comics, except for, say, Young Justice, where he doesn't get much screen time. He gets a lot more as Robin, but there's a lot of people that don't even understand that Robin turns into Nightwing. I've met many people that believe there's only one Robin, and I can't really blame them. They all look the same. But Nightwing has been around almost as long as Batman has been around. Well, not Nightwing, but, you know, Robin, and that Robin was Richard Grayson. He's the first Robin. He's been around almost as long as Batman himself, and look at how much Batman.
I was talking about, I've seen this, we talked about this in another reaction. It was like top 4 Robins. And if we're going time as Robin, I think it was like Nightwing, and then it's like a toss up between Damian and Tim, and then it goes Jason. But if we're going as characters, it's like Nightwing, Red Hood, Damian, Red Robin. People put Damian at the bottom, but like we're thinking about like the newer runs with Damian, how like he's less of a brat.
Media we've received, and in 90% of that Batman media, Nightwing is not apparent, or sometimes a Robin isn't even apparent if we're talking live action. Now, any fellow Nightwing fans that are going to watch this video, if any, please don't take this the wrong way. I know people hate when Nightwing gets compared to Spider-Man, but since Spider-Man is my favorite character,
look, respectfully, anybody who's that like toxic, or they're like, oh, this character can't be compared to this character, stop it. I compare Nightwing to Spider-Man all the time. I put him, this is my joint. They're like, they give you the teenage hero vibe. I got Nightwing there. I got Wally there. I got Spider-Man there. They just, even though like, you know, Barry, sometimes the Flash, we don't see him as a kid, they give that certain vibe of hope. And I have Spider-Man there. They have terrible lives. They're always getting hoed by plot. But they're tough heroes. I don't think it's ridiculous to put them there. And the reason I say Wily over Barry is like just a protege effect. Spider-Man in a lot of media is like a protege. He's seen as like new kid on the block. It just happens when you're like a younger hero. Even if you're stronger, they're not going to see you as like able to make rational decisions as if your life isn't terrible. Like Spider-Man be getting hoed every single day, bro. Like their writers literally have a vendetta against bro. So I don't mind comparison. Spider-Man's him.
I did see, some little itsy bitsy similarities in there with him and
Yeah,
Nightwing,
I
which
like
I
the
think is
character.
part of the
Yeah,
reason I like Nightwing so
so
much,
much.
is because he kind of fits that same role
But for
Spider-Man does
DC,
in Marvel, but in DC. And again, that's not me saying Nightwing is just like Spider-Man or the other way around.
nah,
That's
don't
me
hear you
saying
out.
like they both kind of represent the same
Same
thing,
thing.
like these
Yeah,
street level heroes that even the most powerful characters in the universe have
the
respect
respect.
for. Like
Yeah,
Superman adores and has respect for Nightwing the same way the Avengers
respect
or the
Spider-Man.
Beyonder, the one above all, has respect for Spider-Man of all people. And they're like these pillars of hope within the
Yeah,
universe,
that's what they
except
stand for.
for
That's what I'm
look
saying.
at how much more popular Spider-Man is
Compared
compared
to
to
Nightwing.
Nightwing. And I prefer
That's what I was saying, bro. I was saying Nightwing is like the comparison to Spider-Man if we like focus on him more in like the DC like universes. That's what I literally was just talking about this, and I thought Blue Beetle might be able to fit that mold if they did the movie like really well. The movie turned out okay. I liked it, but like, I didn't think it was like no revolutionary joint.
Spider-Man over Nightwing, but even I can admit, even I can see this is a little crazy
Yeah,
because again, Robin is one of the most iconic comic
characters,
book characters
oldest
of all
characters too.
time. And obviously, when you think of sidekicks, you think of Robin, you think of Batman and Robin. And that Robin, the first Robin ever, Richard
Yeah.
Grayson, grows up into this independent
Hold on, it's tough right here. I ain't peeped that. Bullet marking it. It's tough.
hero, which was what made Spider-Man so different at the time. Was he was a
True.
teenage hero that was able
Exactly.
to stand on his
That's
own
what I'm
without being a
saying.
sidekick. But Robin actually did morph into that, and it's kind of like he just instantly lost all popularity with anyone outside of comics. You can walk up to a random person, they know who Robin is, they know who Robin is,
You know who
but they
Nightwing
don't know
is,
his name. They're not going to be able to tell you if it's
which one
Richard
is
Grayson, if
which.
it's Tim Drake, if it's Jason
None of
Todd,
all.
if it's Stephanie Brown, if it's Damian
It's
Wayne.
Dwayne
They're going to say it's Robin. So even in that regard, I mean, Richard Grayson doesn't even get respect as Robin. And I'm not saying in general he doesn't, because people have been glazing Teen Titans Robin as of recently. I don't know how it started, but it
Like, put some respect on Brian name from Fast and the Furious, bro. Some people respect matters more, bro. You're robbing his
is
flowers.
a thing. I have seen the glaze on Teen Titans Robin, and I'm open for it. But a lot of people don't even
And
know
it
that
do
that
be
Robin
Nightwing do be
is
caked up,
Richard
bro.
Grayson. There are people that make fan theories that that Robin is somehow Tim Drake or Jason Todd, but we
Yeah,
know that
we
this
know for a
Robin
fact
is Grayson. We know this for a
yeah,
fact because you see a future episode where he
it's
turns into
Nightwing.
Nightwing. But even
Well,
then,
in both
even with
shows,
such
by the
a
way.
popular version of Robin, not only does he not get respected as Dick Grayson, but also people just kind of forget the fact that he does end up being Nightwing. I know it's not a
Boy
canon
fit
future,
hard.
but a lot of people don't even remember that episode, or
At
a lot
all,
of
yeah.
casual audiences that watched it probably would not even remember that there were an episode or was an episode where he became Nightwing. And if they did, they wouldn't remember his name, okay? Because DC hasn't done the best job at pushing
Putting
this
their
character,
content, yeah.
as good of a job as they should. And to make matters worse,
My thing, I genuinely think James Gunn's gonna do his thing, and I'm letting him cook. He's starting off with Superman, who is literally respectfully, I think in the DC a pillar character, not just in terms of like, oh, everyone likes Superman, but literally I think he's like kind of like how in the Deadpool movie there's anchor being. Superman is like the anchor being of the DC universe. So it's like I'm not surprised. Like he was in there with Action Comics. I'm not surprised that he's trying to get Superman right with like his first foot in the door. Besides like Peacemaker, he's trying to get Superman right, and you can build off that. But in the same token, I mean he's going from like the statements I've heard on what has a complete script, what he messes with, and then he'll put his director magic on. But I think it is important to hit the teenage audience. That's like a huge audience for comic readers. People who watched it as a kid. So like they're adults now, and then the teenage audience now is gonna gravitate towards it because they're teenagers. That is how you get that popularity, and then these are the people with social media that's gonna push your joint. You leave the good reviews, and then everybody's tapped in, even the old people. Oh yeah, my nephew wanted to see. Oh, my son wanted to see this. Oh, I remember back when Batman was doing da. They better do this movie right. Stuff like that. So it's like you really have to realize that each hero has its own audience. And yes, obviously as comic readers, we are as like a whole kind of the audience, but even within that, there are like subsegments that if you pull on, you can really leverage like these characters and who they are. I mean, because all of them you want to tell. The goal is to tell all of their stories at some point and do it right, you know. And DCU has been like flip floppy with people. I think it's the Warner Bros. Effect. No disrespect to Warner Bros. But like, you know what I'm saying? We need
It's the
something, bro.
first game he appeared in where he was in.
Cause forget the separation between Marvel and DC right now. Comic fans in general will be eating crazy if Marvel's dropping peak, DC's dropping peak. That's why it was so tough to figure out that Fantastic Four and Superman are coming out around the same time. I low key need to see one of them, maybe both of them. Shoot, I'm definitely gonna see both of them.
In the
Not gonna lie.
forefront of things, Gotham Knights.
That game was
Boy, oh
fun.
boy, was that a hot, steaming pile of buns. That was
Yeah.
not a good look for my boy. Having him there, having him on the cover of such a game. And I don't hate the game. I feel like
I think the
most
game was,
games that people consider bad, if they're multiplayer at least, most games could be
decent.
decently fun with friends. So every time I played it with someone else, it wasn't terrible. But why is that like Nightwing's biggest debut in terms of gaming? You know, like DC, do a better job at pushing one of your better characters. Why would you not? You are missing out on the bag here, DC. Please, you want my money, you want other people's money, push Nightwing.
Yeah.
Nightwing is your way to combat.
The worst part is like these companies claim they want money, but they spam DLC and not spam like the good stuff. And I get that there's a certain amount of profit lost when you develop the good stuff, but the good stuff is the type of stuff that's gonna make double the profit that you put in. You feel me? You're gonna make more off of the good stuff rather than like Striker's on like its 40th DLC. Xeno is on like its 25th, maybe. You know, like can we just drop Striker 2? Cause bro, tangent. But there's a chance that some of y'all DC fans like me are in here that are tapped in with Naruto. I thought Striker was gonna be this stuff, bro, and I played it. I think it's good. I still will play it to this day. But like, I thought you were gonna have the ability to add dojutsu to your character, which you can't do. I thought it was gonna be more of like a real Naruto experience. Like you make a character, they have like a family lineage, right? I don't think it was gonna be like a Roblox game where the family lineage gives them certain buffs. But let's say if you get the right lineage, which you can unlock through story as well, but it's also RNG when you create your character. If you spawn in with Uchiha, they have the Sharingan, and they can use those abilities, but that is not connected to their jutsu. The problem is they made the game where like you can make your own character because you had these builds where you can use all these jutsu, all these different weapons. The weapons should stay. The jutsu freedom should stay unless it's a jutsu exclusive to being like an Otsutsuki or something. Because I think that comes with its nerfs. Like, oh, you have to be an Otsutsuki, which means you don't have these dojutsu. You just have this one and stuff like that. I think that's how they should come. Because when I saw those ads, I was waiting for that game. I remember I was going to, I think, middle school, maybe a little bit before middle school, like middle school to late elementary, like seeing that ad on YouTube or something, waiting like for the bus to come in the freezing cold, bro, and we was hyped, bro. We was mad we had to wait like at the time it was like 5 or 6 months for it to release. So like, I played the beta or the alpha. The beta.
All of these other characters that Marvel is pushing out. Marvel brought Iron Man from the floor up and made him the face of the MCU.
Yeah.
Iron Man is not a terrible character by any means, but Iron Man was not even in the conversation of Spider-Man and Batman and Superman. Now you can ask someone today who their favorite character is or who they think one of the most popular superheroes is, and some people genuinely will say Iron Man. How is that the case, DC, but you haven't pushed one of your better characters that should have more star power than they do, Nightwing, into being more of a mainstream name, more of a household name? It's just disappointing. So we need to show Nightwing more love. No matter how that happens, I'm hoping and praying that with James Gunn's new DCEU, we get more Nightwing. I know that there was a Teen Titans movie confirmed to be in.
That's going to be tough. I also think it's going to be tough because Superman inspires Nightwing. So if he gets his Superman right, we're straight.
In the works, and that Batman in this universe already has Damian as a Robin. Now, let's not recreate that DCAU moment with Nightwing and Damian, okay? Nightwing is leagues above Damian in terms of skill, so let's not even pretend, let's not even toy with the idea of Damian being on par with Nightwing, and let's actually give him the respect he deserves. Please, James Gunn, I trust you.
Boy Wonder. Hey man, shout out Cloudify, bro. Hold on. I know I'm no fraud, no hypocrite. Subscribe, we hit that bell. That will be it for me on this topic, man. Shout out my dog, Richard Grayson. And yeah, you know what time to see me tomorrow. Peace.